It seems like nowadays the only debate that we're willing to have in the public sphere is about either atheism or theism, secularism versus fundamentalism. And so I like to refer back to Marx and Hegel because they give us other options that transcend this narrow-minded debate. In both Hegel and Marx's view, our nature doesn't create us. It doesn't make our history. We basically create our own nature, and we have this capacity because we are uniquely human. We're not determined to act the way we do, to work in the job we work in, to speak the way we speak. None of that is predetermined. Even our personality is not predetermined. And so Jean-Paul Sartre has a really good way of making sense of this. So he makes the distinction in being and time, being and nothingness, between being in itself, being for itself, and being for others. So this is our unique capacity. Whereas you look at the rock and its being in itself is just fixed in it. The properties of that rock will be the same. It will react the same to other substances, to the external world in the same exact way every single time. Whereas with humans, our behavior and our reactions change. We are always developing, sure, but we also have the power to learn new things, to speak different languages, and to enter into different contexts. So there is a big distinction. But if you just try to reduce us down to being in itself without considering these other two mediations, being for itself and being for others, which you could say is where psychology and sociology comes in. If you don't consider psychology, and especially sociology, you aren't going to understand who we are. So I think that it's more important to focus on social structure and division of labor than it is to try to analyze the genetic and biological foundations of human action. Of course, we need to be living in order to be acting. We need to satisfy our needs, but the way we satisfy our needs is very much predetermined by culture and by the type of socio-economic formation that we live in at the time. So we do and we don't have the power to change who we are. We do in the sense that it could always be different, but we don't in the sense that we're always in society, we're always in a social structure, and that controls how we meet our needs, rather than especially nowadays in the era of globalization, where the entire world has been commodified. You literally can't go out and meet your own needs anymore. It is always mediated through the market, and so that is something that the animal doesn't really experience, and it doesn't have to adjust in the same ways. And it's pretty easy being an animal. You just do what your parents did, and whereas we see quite a bit of change between generations in human society. So this gives a new perspective to the debate between atheism and theism. On the one hand you have supernaturalism, on the other hand you have naturalism. But the problem with naturalism is that although it's much better than supernaturalism, it still applies the same natural scientific laws to human beings when we have these qualitative dimensions that don't quite fit in with the natural laws and give a unscientific view of what it means to be human. Because I think you can only understand the human being through sociology and psychology. But if we stop thinking just in terms of naturalism versus supernaturalism, maybe we'd be getting somewhere in the world. There's so many social problems and political problems going on right now. Immense changes are happening, and we don't even know about them. We should be talking about these things rather than talking about talking about whether God exists or whatever. Who cares? I mean, this debate should have ended a long time ago. It's just wasting all of our time. Yeah, that's what I have to say about Marx, Hegel, and Sartre. I highly recommend that you read Marx's economic and philosophical manuscripts of 1844, because that's where he talks about his concept of human nature, which is very broad. For him, it's very broad. We can be whatever we want to be. And similarly with Hegel and Sartre. Okay, see ya.